Hey everyone, this is Tracy with Color Me This. We are on our final day of coloring these fun fruit. We are going simple and fast. I am finishing 5 a day. The first 2 days went really well. I even managed an intro on the very first set of 5, using 15 different sets of pencils, no more than 5 colors per set, and I have taken the results of the community post where I asked what set you would like me to use, and Polychromos had 3 votes, so that is what I pulled. And our first set we're going to use today is a vintage set of Prismacolors from 1986. I owned 2 of them and found them when I went back home in August to get my stuff, to move it here to my new Florida home. And I went ahead and bought a used set off eBay to supplement. In fact, we're using one of my 2 colors that I owned. I bought them in 1986. I was a freshman in college, and I did some side gig work, graphic work, and I actually did a mock-up of a coupon book for a man, and I used green and red. He picked the colors, green and magenta. Okay, so the colors we are using today to do the watermelon and pineapple fruit. This will be the most variety of colors of any of those of the images. Let's see if we can see the text on these. It's fairly early today for me. It's still light out. Sun is going down though. We've got Canary Yellow 916, Sienna Brown 945, Magenta 930, Apple Green 912, and Olive Green 911. I believe in 1986 there were 72 colors, and I believe all of these colors still exist in the current version of the Prismacolors. Please correct me if I'm wrong, because I am not a Prismacolor expert. And for the pineapple, we're going to actually do some triple color treatment. I'm going to start with just a light base of the yellow. Because of the Prismacolor being soft, that's the main word I put here for this set when I used them on the copy paper. They did a very nice job on the copy paper. I am going to add a little more light. So, soft and smooshable are the 2 terms that come to mind for these. I am now going to add the Sienna Brown, and the Sienna Brown, I am going to be adding it sort of along the edging, because I then am going to add along the same edging some green. And it's a crisscross of the, it's more the shadow or the undeveloped portion of the pineapple exterior, I guess, that is a mix of brown and green with the yellow in the centers. So that is what I am replicating very quickly with minimal colors. So today was an exercise day for me. I didn't have to go anywhere. I did have some company. It's like every day. I don't know if you guys feel like this, but it seems like even when you have quote-unquote a day off, which yesterday was not an exercise day, but I ended up shopping with my mom a couple places. And then I'm going to grab the green while I talk. I even have 2 greens. I have the apple green and the dark green. I may come back in with the dark green. We'll see how it looks. So yesterday I didn't feel like I had a day off, even though it wasn't an exercise day. And my Monday, Wednesday, Friday exercise days, when the weather is warm enough in the winter, includes an hour of floor Zumba, like dancing pretty much, and an hour in the pool, and every day in the pool is a different focus. Today was high intensity interval training, and it's my hardest day in the pool. and I am pretty darn tired. Pretty tired. But I'm glad I'm getting today's final coloring page done. I almost think that this brown, I have my sharpener nearby, you will hear it. I feel like if I could get into this bottom area here a little bit more fully, I would like it better. We do have, I see, we have afternoon light, so I will be dropping my blind down. This always happens if I color in the afternoon. So we will do that. Because I color this, the daily color is kind of a continuous stream, and I don't usually interrupt too much and do a lot of stopping and starting, unless I have like knocks at the door or hub needs something. I try to just keep it going, keep the flow alive. So I hope you guys are okay with that. So there's my pineapple. I can do a tiny bit more yellow. The idea of coloring all of these this week is just to show that with minimal colors and minimal time, you can make some really nice, easy fruit. And it's a test for me. How good can I make my fruit? And then there's fruit. I don't even know what it is. Thank you guys for responding and letting me know, advising me what these fruits I am not familiar with are. And we're going to go ahead and now do the spiky. I can actually zoom in. This is a smaller image, even though it does have two fruit. It is still fairly small. So now I'm going to go into these shadows with the darker green that I picked. On this smooth paper, these pencils feel better and sound quieter than they sound on the copy paper. I have purposefully done mock-ups. I wanted to, because I'm coloring out of my normal element, and I am trying to go for the speed, and I am very slow, I went ahead and did color every single image. Yep, every single image has been colored on the copy paper, which gave me two different points, different types of medium that I was coloring on, which was good, and I tried to keep notes. So it's kind of a fun comparison. I'm going with the lighter green now. I know some of you, there's folks who are concerned about memberships, and I did not finish by my deadline. The whole kitten kind of slowed things up between the kitten and getting injured. Things have been a little slower going for me, but I am coming along with the memberships. Again, the idea of the memberships is that it will be extended content and early release of content, but all of the content you have seen as a subscriber will be the same. It will continue. And this is giving folks an opportunity to support me. I will be doing an intro video that will explain a little bit more about my background and why I am doing the membership. I know in the coloring community there are some people who've done it, some people who haven't, so it's kind of a mixed bag. I just want to figure out ways that I can continue to provide fun content on the budget that I exist on, because I am, in a nutshell, have been retired for many years. I have a pretty severe back injury that is not something that I am compensated for, but it made me rethink life and my goals and what I wanted to experience in life. I am an experiential person. I have done a lot of crazy things, and one of them is deciding to sell my home. Hub had already retired at a very young age, and that piece of income that we have, which is our only income, did allow me to also retire. And we just live a very simple life. So more on that in the intro video for memberships when I get that ready to go. It worked on that today, and want to take my time and revisit this a few different times. So I'm going to take some yellow. So watermelon, this is a watermelon exterior. And they come in all sorts of different color combinations. Again, I'm only using 5 colors, so I have decided to make the little pattern that this supplemental color pattern is going to be sort of a light green. And I want it to be a light yellowish green or warmish green. So that is my goal. Doing some color mixing here of different tones. What you're seeing now is the darkest green going down. And then I'll get that apple green out and do some further intermixing, commingling of colors. So anyhow, I don't want to scare anybody about memberships, and I have supported, I even talked to my husband. He has a couple of channels, YouTube channels that he supports, and he has picked a level of support that he can afford, given that we are very fixed income people. So I want to make sure that I don't want people to feel compelled to pay unless it is something that they can afford and they just really want to do it to support me, not because they have to. So nothing that I put behind the membership will be required. You will have all of the content that you need to be able to color with me. This is all going to be added bonus type features or early release. So I want it to only be that people are doing it to support me, to thank me for what I'm doing, not because they are buying in to get access to something that they feel they need because they can't get it for free. I hope that explains what my goal is. I do have some technology goals, tech-wise. I have supplies I want to buy. And I just can't buy them with what we have going, so that I have to find some way to afford them. And that's what I am going to give this a try and see how it works. So our watermelon rind is coming along nicely. I could even sharpen this green, I think. So 5 distinct colors, well, 2 greens, brown, tan, and red. So this has lines, and unfortunately, those lines are going to give it the appearance of kind of having like a scalloping or a ridging, which they are smooth. And I didn't want to get into spending time trying to eliminate lines, which is not something I have done a lot of anyway. So I did not opt for that strategy. So you're going to see the lines, and it will probably look a bit like scalloping and 3D. And hopefully it will be minimized. So that's kind of what it looks like. And we will move on to our watermelon. I always get bogged down on the first one. I forget, I'm supposed to be quick here. Quick, quick, quick. So we're going to do the edge. I believe I have 51 colors in this set. I was all excited and thought I would get all 72 of them, but I'm just going to stay with what I have for now. I do have like a list of additional supplies, finishing off some pencil sets, and some different supplemental, you know, like for backgrounds, bling as I call it, embellishing, etc., that I would like to do. I'm not so much focused on new sets. There is one or two that are intriguing to me, but I think I have enough to provide people some good input on them. So my watermelon, the centers tend to be the deepest color, and I did not grab a black, so the seeds are not going to be black. Same thing with the strawberries that I did. I am keeping things somewhat linear. They have some texture to them, though it doesn't really look too linear, the inside of a watermelon. But there's these little lines, so I am following the prompt from the artist as I do this, and I'm ignoring the seeds. It's like a pulpy surface, so there's not going to be a lot of shine or glisten at this distance. So I'm just letting things be somewhat smooth. And we are about finished. Again, the center here is the darkest, and then I'm letting the color fade a little so there is some tooth, and that tooth is what is providing the lighter color. Alrighty. There even is a line of white along here that they didn't provide that line for it, so I'm just not having the white. Alright, that came out great. Love it. Putting these away. The second set's going to be fun. Okay, so now my only wet set for this, I only have 2 wet mediums in colored pencil format. They are, the Inktense has already been used, and the second set is the Albrecht Durer, which actually is, let's see if I even have it. Oh, I did. Which is the wet watercolor equivalent of the Polychromos. And so I only own a 60 set, so I actually used my swatches here. I have not made swatches for the Albrecht Durer. These are very old swatches that I created on Bristol Vellum, Strathmore Bristol Vellum 300, I believe. And I have not even re-swatched the Polychromos fresh on my new swatch system, that because these swatches are, I don't know, 6-7 years old. They're very old. At some point I should re-swatch some stuff. I should start keeping tally. These are the pencils. The pencils have not been sharpened yet. I'm going to be putting them down and applying water to them, so I'm not worried about sharpening them per se. The colors that I picked are Madder 142, which is a light red, dark red 225, a light green 171, leaf green 112, and pine green 267. The pine green isn't my favorite tone. Chrome oxide green would be better, but is not what came with my 60 set. I do regret, I'm trying not to think about it, now that I use these in my daily color, it makes me want to have the full set. I do have full set syndrome. So again, none of these tips are sharpened. The word that I wrote down for these were a dry silky. They're drier than the Polychromos feeling, but they still have a silky feel. You can use them dry. The image we're going to do is this set of cherries. And I'm going to do my best here to create shine. So I am circling these glossy highlight areas that I want to make sure I keep the gloss. They're not perfect. For our purposes, we are not worried about perfect. I did use an image of a cherry. I don't know if I even really technically have to use dark. I'm just putting down some color using extremely light pressure. because I know I'm going to come along with water in a moment, and we don't have a lot of time anyway. The darker red, which is called dark red, it's a very reflective surface on these cherries. I did use an image that I got from Google. This is the dark red going down. There are some softer shadow or highlights on the back side, so I'm going to leave a little bit non-colored. I will attempt to leave it non-colored. And then we have some shadows where the cherries go behind the other cherries. You may be able to see the dark red versus the lighter red. They are round, so I am going with dark around the exterior to give it the appearance of being more rounded. We have some lines that are our hint from the artist that they should be dark. Of course, underneath the leaf should be dark. My company who came to visit, I don't know if I even mentioned this, so I had coloring class. We had a great time. We were doing coloring, a winter scene, and I was using less colors because, we only have 50 colors. So I have to do a little bit of what I'm doing here, where I have to invent colors on the fly because you only have a subset. So now I'm ready to do some water. Setting them down, I have a very small brush. I prefer an actual brush. This seems to be my favorite. It is a set of brushes that were very inexpensive. It's a little bit of a flat brush. I have longer, even skinnier brushes. I have a tiny bit of water and a paper towel. I don't like to be super wet in this book, so my paper towel, I get my bristles wet, and then I dry them off, and then here I am kind of tapping to get water started. I do want or prefer a smooth finish, not so much a watercolor look as a smooth finish to have the cherry appear shiny. I can always go back after I'm done and add more of like the dark red for the dark areas. And I am really liking using water. I hadn't used water until Magical Worlds, doing this frog snail page. There's 6 small images, and I used Inktense for one row and the Albrecht Durer for the other. Inktense is new to me. It is a permanent, you get one time to activate it and then it's set. Whereas the Albrecht Durer, you can reactivate as much as you need. So I enjoyed that immensely and immediately added them to my rotation. I rotate through all of my sets over and over and over in different ways. That way every pencil set gets used and I don't play any favorites. It is not always the best for me, I will say. I do have my favorites, and sometimes if a set of pencils comes along and I'm not mentally prepared to deal with them, that's just too bad, so sad. I have to suck it up. Okay, so that is done. I'm grabbing the dark red now, and I would like to enhance the edges some. The paper is partially wet, and I'm okay with that. Again, I haven't sharpened these, so I do have to be a little careful. And there's a little bit of white there. Just kind of let it be. Some natural reflection from something causing more shine. And there they are, my smooth cherries. On the copy paper, it didn't come out as good as this. It was a little bit rougher because of the rough surface. This is a very smooth paper. I think I'm getting really spoiled coloring in Johanna Basford's books. Okay, have to move on. I could color in it forever. Okay, greens. I've got this dark green that's actually pine green in it. As I said, it's not my favorite. I probably would not choose it, but it's okay. It's not really dark enough. The imagery that I saw, the leaves were different, so the cherries, they weren't serrated, so there must be a variety of cherry that has a serrated edge leaf, because the ones that I were seeing were all smooth. And that is my recollection from eating cherries. We lived in Washington State and would go to Eastern Washington and get cherries. Always cherries is a summertime thing. Even the neighbor had a tree, a cherry tree. So yeah, cherries were very common, a common thing for me to eat. Okay, so that's the middle green. And then the light green is mainly, the stems are usually very light colored. And I'll put a little bit of this light green. It's all going to merge together when I add water. And then this, they don't show it, but usually the stem. Well, first off, there's individual stems, and there should be a little bit of a seam type thing there. But that's not quite accurate. But along here, like that, would be where this was popped off from the bigger branch. So now I'm going to grab a little wet, put down my greens. This I knew was going to be the toughest one for me. So this is just the stem breaking off, and it should be tannish brown, but we don't have tan brown. We have a shadow here. And I went off out of the lines, but I'm okay with that. I probably could clean up by wetting along the edge there if I really wanted to, but in the interest of time, I'm not going to do it. So I think that came out just fine. I like it. That was fun. A fun, little, interesting, different way of coloring. All right, we're moving on. So the next one is interesting because the back fruit is shaped like a pear. The front fruit is somewhat shaped like a pomegranate, and the center with the seeds is decidedly pomegranate. So that is the color I'm going to most closely approximate as best I can using the Brutfuner Macarons. So the Brutfuner Macarons, I did write soft. They are, of all of the Brutfuners, these are a dream. They are so fantastic. I don't know if they're made a little different, if the formula is different. However, they ended up making them. I'm using this pink. I should show you the colors. We have, of course, all lights. Yes, these are Holbein knockoffs. This is an older version. I have two versions. The older version has some different names. So we got Lemon Meringue 0897, Goldfing 341, Carmine Rose 737, Green Flash 112, and Leaf Green 1291. And I'm using the pink, but I plan, it's the closest to the pomegranate red that I could get to, but I am going to do a quick glazing over with yellow to get this to be a little more orangey red. Some pomegranates are lighter colored than others when I looked at the photography. So these are very soft. You do not have to add a lot of pressure to get a lot of color. Going to have a darker color on the back side there, and then right here as we have the shadow of the pomegranate being in front of the full pomegranate. Okay, let's get the gold fing, which is the kind of yellowy orange, and that is what I'm going to glaze over the top to give this more of a red appearance. Sort of a reddish orange. So back to coloring. We had the coloring group. We did coloring this week. I was not sure about Lucky, whether or not he would be able to be in the room with everybody, how everyone felt about that. So I had him in the screen room, and the first person who came, he heard them and he came running. And oh my gosh, you guys, he's so social. He ran right up to her. He said hello in no uncertain terms. He promptly then sniffed her hand and then went to her bag to check out her coloring supplies. It was so cute. So this is the tan, the what is it? Lemon meringue, and I'm using it for the flesh that holds the berries inside. So it was so cute, but then by the time 3 people came, he kept talking. We were trying to get situated, and he was obnoxious. He didn't need to be up on the desk or on the table that we were working at, but he was just like fully involved. And the more I talked, the more he meowed. So I had to put him away. I had to go put him in the screen room. So today I had company. It's her first time meeting him. He was equally as social as that other day. And I know I need to keep socializing him, but not putting him away. He needs to learn how to, be with the group and not be obnoxious and rude. And so we played, and she saw where his bed was, and he jumped right up to our, my little cat tree, and he just really, really liked her. But I think he likes everybody. There's one person that he has not liked, only one, and it's because we had a pest control annual inspection. And he was through the house, and I was holding the cat so he could freely move throughout the house. And at the end, he had his clipboard over by where I was standing, and he went very quickly toward me, toward the clipboard, and Lucky was in my hands, resting nicely, and he bristled up and hissed at him. Like, back off, buddy. It was very cute. He was definitely being very protective, because he was fine with him throughout the whole inspection. Until the very end when he turned toward us and approached us quickly without warning. And he was even saying how much he liked cats. Okay, so we've got our 2 greens, a leaf green and a green flash lighter green. So you can see the pomegranate is too light, but I think it still looks pomegranate-esque. And if I have picked the wrong fruit, let me know. I have missed a couple of the fruit choices. Luckily, my colors weren't too far off. So, Lucky is definitely very social. Seems to like people. He doesn't like, Hub had him out, I was watering the plants in the front, so I was spraying water. And he clearly wanted to leave. That was not his favorite thing, but I don't want him to be outside anyway. He's way too small. If something were to happen, we live in a nature preserve. There's way bigger critters that would just think he would be a perfect snack. So we are done. We have finished number 3 with a very light pastel pomegranate. Color, yeah, and I said soft. And these were they're very, very nice to use. I can't speak highly enough. I wish that I love the squares as well, but the squares are definitely drier. They're not as creamy. So this is the fruit that I do not know what it is. The only fruit that I know of that has exterior seeds is a strawberry. So there's the strawberry. However, it's not really that important unless I were to use either blue or some totally different color. I'm doing neon for this set. So I went ahead and just said, I'm going to stick with pink red because I don't really know what this is supposed to be. And it'll be just fine. We are at 35 minutes, doing well for time. I have 5 lovely fluorescents. I believe this is my first time using them aside from testing, quick testing. Love the blue lettering. The metallic does not bother me at all. I like that I get a little color family guide. Would be good for beginners to just know what color family they're supposed to be in. Colors. Oh, and they go from 1 to 50. 27 China red, 20 light red, 49 light yellow green, 47 bud green, and 45 big green. And no, I don't have these in the exact color number order. Let's see if you can see all those. That's how much I've zoomed in. There they all are. And so they're in a little bit different order because I did put them more in color family order in a couple of places where it was obvious. So again, I've got this darker red, but it only goes so dark. These are very creamy, quite soft. For my first time using them, I like them a lot. You know, their colors are going to be their colors, and this is supposed to be a fluorescent. Look at how bright pink that is. And you can see that this isn't really obnoxious in your face fluorescent. Some of the colors are, but this red is not. I'm going to take the lighter, which is called light red. It shows a lighter pink. And let's just see what color this is. It's a little bit more fluorescent-y to my eye. So yeah, I don't know. The other thing too is, see the green. Oops, it's not focused. This green, the leaves go up somewhat. Yeah, I don't know what fruit has the greens going up, because here's again our strawberry. The leaves flow down and around the strawberry. So if you guys know what this is, so far every fruit I've not known, I have gotten a response, which I greatly appreciate. So I'd be curious, what are these supposed to be? If you know, send me a comment and I will approve it for everyone to see. I'm going to add a little more of the dark red, and then we have to move along. We have a schedule to keep, and I am trying not to get too bogged down. I think we went long yesterday, so I'm trying not to have that happen again. Every set of Brutfuner pencils I have, I love, and I have not found a lot of breakage with them. I do really like all my colors, but I have had, but it's not their fault. The pencils have been through a lot, so I've had some breakage on the colors. Not shipped very well or appropriately. Okay, so the 3 greens, starting with the darkest green, which is big green. But you can see it's really not very dark, so we're not going to get the shadows. I would need, if I were to try to just use pops of fluorescent color, I would have to, you know, like use the Brutfuner squares with these. I have not done a lot of mixing sets. I have to think about how I would like to add that to, I guess, my dance card of coloring videos. going through these books, how would I do a mix? Because that time is coming. It will be coming. Okay, moving on to the middle green. And the light green. I was so excited this morning. Lucky did not. I had to get up to use the restroom. It was 5 a.m. I was like, oh, I don't want to disturb him. So I did get up. I heard his bell on his collar move, but he did not get up. And I ignored him. He sleeps by my bed. He's very good. Only one night, he was out here on the cat tree. And at 4 a.m. I woke up and he wasn't in bed. And I'm like, I kind of want to get him really consistently coming to bed. And so I went and got him. And he came and he laid right down and went to sleep. So we have been consistent. I don't have a good color. I guess I could use the green for these stems. And then we're going to move on. So yeah, I was really glad he let me sleep this morning until 7 a.m. Well, 6:58. And if I can, and I am not a morning person, so this is all new for me. The sacrifices I make because I want a cat. All right, moving down, we have our last image. This is the image that you guys have voted or made comments, of which it wasn't like a poll or anything. I just said write down what set you would like to see me use. And yeah, no, I didn't put a list of which sets I own. And so there were some people, the only one that they mentioned that I didn't own is ChromaFlow. And that is one of the few sets that I've heard they're not perfect, so do I really need them? No, but for research purposes, I would love to have them. I think I don't need any more budget pencils. So we are doing an eggplant. That is how I interpret this image. We've got 2 eggplant colors here. Purple Violet 136, Mauve 249. It's so weird to see mauve being purple. But that's what they've done. We've got Leaf Green 112 as my lightest green, Permanent Green 288, and Chromium Green Opaque 174. That might supposed to be something else, but I'm going to use it because we're not going to think about it. Maybe it was supposed to be Chromium Green Oxide, maybe? So this is also a very waxy, shiny surface. They are rounded, very smooth. The words for the copy paper feel is silky, and they are silent. You hear nothing. On the copy paper, you do hear them. But not on this lovely Basford smooth paper. I even think that this is almost like if I allowed myself to make a correction, I would have picked a little bit more lighter violet for the image that I pulled these colors from. they're also, this image is, they're shorter, and there might be different varieties. The image that I saw, they were longer and narrower. Yeah, boy, these are really quiet. I guess my big word for these, quiet. If you need to color stealthy-like and not make a sound, like let's say you need to sit and you're watching a show with somebody and you don't want to distract from the show, these would be a good choice. Wow. They are impressive. And you would think, since I've had these the longest, well, the ones I've had the longest are the Albrecht Durers. I got those first, these second. I did watercolor prior to selling our home, but didn't want to bring anything wet, none of my paints, so I switched to pencils. Oh, and then the love happened. I fell in love instantly. I'm like, wow, how did I not know about these all these years? I even have one really weak watercolor plant drawing. I don't even know what colored pencils they were from. Not from the two that I owned back in the day, but I must have had some very small set. You know, maybe a dozen, maybe 8. And I made this really nice geranium type image. Okay, going back to the light, and we have to watch our time. I am over time. Not by much. Because I only had a few pencils, I have to let the tooth of the paper be the fading. These actually did have a bit of a fade. They're not as shiny, gloss, reflective, pardon me, as the cherries. But this is the heavy pressure with the lighter color. And now you can hear it because I am putting down lots of pressure. So though these are a light layering oil-based pencil, you still can put the pressure on and get a faster lay down if you need to. All right, on to green. Starting with that very dark green. So I've changed my strategy here since I want to finish quickly, and I am using heavy pressure, and these are doing fantastic. I have not, we have a sundae next. An ice cream sundae that will be able to have lots of colors. I do not know what set. I'm done with our sets. I have to redo my rotation for, I believe, round 7. And I believe that the round 7, unless we have another page with lots of sets, maybe I'll be done. This will be my last rotation through the book, which I hope to finish in March. I don't like rushing, though, so if need be, it might be April. but I'm making good progress. All right, folks, that is it. We are finished with this page. Speed coloring, not sped up coloring. Me coloring quickly to finish 5 each day. And I did it 3 days in a row. So proud. I get to mark that goal complete. So do all of the YouTube things, like, share, comment. Consider subscribing. Leave comments if you know what fruit the fluorescent fruit is supposed to be, because I just didn't know what it was supposed to be. And then I'm not doing weekly reviews anymore. Tomorrow will be the first day of the Sunday. So I do owe you guys a monthly review of what I did in January, as well as a haul video. So I will be playing with those definitely over the weekend and into next week. But we have one more day of daily color, and that would be tomorrow. So I hope to see you all there. Thank you so much for joining me today.